So lesson 1.1 is on points, lines, and planes. The lesson objective is that I can identify and name points, lines, and planes in geometrical drawings. So first off, we need to define a few vocabulary. So a point is a location with neither a shape nor a size, and it is named by a capital letter. So like A. So a couple examples, you put a point and you label it A, or another example, B. A line. A line is made up of points with no thickness or width. There is exactly one line through any 2 points. So using 2 points, with a line above is how you label a line. So, for example, PQ with a line going above, and make sure you have the 2 arrows going because a line extends on forever. Another way that you can label it is by using a lowercase script letter or cursive letter. So for example, a cursive L. So a line extends on forever. Say we have points P and Q on the line. That's how we can label it PQ. And then we could also label it with a cursive L. But notice that it extends in both directions. And then a plane is a flat surface made up of points that extend indefinitely in all directions. And there is exactly one plane through any 3 points that do not lie on the same line. So you can label this by using 3 points that are not on the same line. So for example, plane BDC. Or you can label it in the sense that we did the line, you can label it with a capital script letter rather than a lowercase. So with a capital script letter. So say we had a cursive K. So a plane looks kind of like a sheet of paper, and we could have points B, D, or C on there, or we could label it as K. So now we're looking at collinear. Collinear is 2 or more points that lie on the same line. So 2 or more points that lie on the same line. And notice collinear has line in it. Collinear. Collinear. So next we have coplanar. What do you think this means? This is 2 or more points and or lines that lie on the same plane. So 2 or more points and or lines. So both points and lines that lie on the same plane. So this doesn't quite say plane, but it almost says plane. It has plan, so coplanar. And then an intersection. An intersection is when 2 things cross. So we have the intersection of 2 lines that intersect form, pull this up here. So here you can see two lines that intersect are going to form a point. And then over here we have two planes that intersect are going to form a line. So you can see line R through here. So I want you guys to name the geometric term modeled by each object. So if you think about a floor, is that a point, a line, or a plane? Right, that would be a plane. 5 is a cell phone tower. Is that a point, a line, or a plane? Correct, that is a line, because it just goes up and down. And it also extends on forever because it's sending signals up. And then a push pin is a point. So now I want you guys to name a line containing point K. And then I want you guys to find another way to label it. So you will find throughout geometry here that there are multiple ways of labeling something. So a line containing point K could be JK. Also, you could have KL or JL, or just label it with the A, because we have all of them are the same line right there and extends on in both directions. And then I want you guys to name a plane containing point L. So there are multiple ways to do this as well. One way we learned was using just the uppercase script letters, so we could use the B, but we could also label it using K, L, M, 3 points that are not collinear. Not collinear when you're labeling a plane. And then also we could use J, L, M. So now, naming 3 collinear points using this figure, we could use A, B, and D, because we have A, B, D all lying on the same line. So now we're going to ask, are points A, B, C, and D coplanar? So do they all lie on the same plane? So we have A, B, C, and D. And it's a little tricky, but yes, they do all lie on the same plane. And then I want you guys to identify the planes in this picture. So one way to label them is the script, uppercase script letter. So we have plane K, but then we also have plane A, B, C going here. You can see this is kind of sticking up from plane K, so it's sitting on top of it. Sometimes these figures are a little tricky to see, so try and do your best. 11, what is the intersection of BD and AC? So, the intersection of BD is a line, so line BD and line AC. The intersection of that is a point, and it's A. So the intersection of two lines was a point. And then the intersection of plane K and line AB D. So plane K and line AD is a point, and that's B because you can kind of see. It's hard to tell, but line AD is actually going through the plane, so it's dotted there since it's going through. So it's B, and it's a point. And then last it asks for the intersection of plane K and line M. So we have plane K and line M. And notice that line M is line on plane K. So M is actually our intersection line, M. So I want you to draw and label a figure for each of these relationships. So line N intersects plane P at point I. So we have a plane P, which I'm going to label with a script capital P, and then we have line N intersects it at a point. So from our last example, we knew that we intersected a line with a point when the line went through the plane. So I'm going to make line N go through the plane, and at point I, it's where it crosses through. So imagine stabbing a pencil through a piece of paper. Where that hole is going to be your intersection. So now lines B and Y are coplanar, so they lie on the same plane in plane Q, but they do not intersect. So that means that they are parallel. Line X intersects line B at point C and line Y at point D. So we have a plane Q, which I'm going to label with a capital script letter. And then I have lines B, which I'm going to label with a lower script letter, and Y, and they do not intersect, so they're parallel. And then line X intersects both of those, and it intersects line B at point C and line Y at point D. So it's a little tricky to get the hang of, but just read what the question kind of says and pick it apart piece by piece. This last one is a little tricky to see, but we have R and B, which are both capital script letters, so they're planes, and they intersect at X, Y. So we have two planes intersecting at a line. So imagine a couple planes here. I'm going to label this one plane R, and then I have another plane B going through, and then I have they intersect at line X, Y. It's a little hard to see, but they intersect at line X, Y. So hopefully you watched this, and then you can work on your 1.1 practice, which should be pretty similar to the notes here, just with a couple more examples, and good luck.